500 days ago was a day that I will never forget. I will go over why I will not forget it and why it lives with me forever in this video. Here's CBS Cyclone, November 13th, 2025. Because there are no active storms today or anything that has the potential for development anytime soon, I'm kind of just doing these videos in the meantime until we get maybe a potential disturbance where I just throw out my thoughts to the weather community. And today I'm going to be talking about Hurricane Beryl. This was the first storm I really tracked intensely. Last year, June 28th is when it developed. It got a name that day, the B-name storm of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. It slowly intensified through the 28th and 29th, and then by the 29th, it had intensified into a Category 1 hurricane, becoming the easternmost Category 5 hurricane to develop in the month of June. Normally, in the month of June, storms do not come from the main development region. However, the environment for Beryl was very favorable, and then it went on to rapidly intensify all the way from a tropical storm then to a Cat 4 by the 30th of June. So the 29th of June, it became a Category 1 hurricane. The 30th, it became a Category 4. It was the first June Category 4 hurricane on record in the Atlantic Basin, and so far the only and the earliest Category 4 hurricane on the record. And then it continued its journey toward the Caribbean. It did go through an eye wall replacement cycle that night. It was a very fast eye wall replacement cycle. The eye closed up, it opened back up, then the storm resumed intensification. And then it moved toward Grenada, made landfall on the island of Carriacou with 140 or 150 mile an hour sustained winds. So a high-end Category 4 hurricane. And then it continued into the Caribbean, and it became the earliest Category 5 on record. The 500 days ago was July 1st, 2024. That was the day Beryl made landfall, made her strongest landfall, and then that night, you see July 1st at 11 p.m. Eastern, it became the earliest Category 5 hurricane on record, beating Hurricane Emily from 2005, and that is a record that probably will not be broken for a long time. Then it continued its journey through the Caribbean, past Jamaica. Jamaica was still recovering from that as Melissa came through. Melissa just happened about 2 weeks ago, and then Jamaica was still recovering as Melissa came through. But back to Beryl, it weakened to a Cat 3, then to a Cat 2, then back up to a Cat 3, then back down to a Cat 2 as it made landfall near Tulum on the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Then it continued into Texas, and then it continued into the Gulf. It struggled to intensify on its approach to Texas, but once it finally did so, it did get 90 mile an hour winds. This says 80 miles an hour, but the post-analysis that the National Hurricane Center did on the system brought it up to 90. And it did look closer to a Cat 2 than a Cat 1, so that's not surprising. And then the total overall, what happened with this storm, this is what it looked like at its peak intensity. Most storms will have a lot of clouds around them. This storm was a small storm, but also it didn't have clouds around it because it did get Saharan dust, very dry air, choked it up, and then caused it to weaken. So there was no thunderstorm activity around it really because there was so much dry air around it, and this was a very rare storm. We probably will not see a storm like this anytime soon. But 165 was its peak intensity, unfortunately killing 73 people and at least $9 billion in damage, mostly in Texas. The deaths were also mostly in Texas, surprisingly enough. But that's it for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll do a video on Hurricane Melissa. Thanks for watching and see ya.